Yes, I have tricks up my pocket. I have things up my sleeve, but I'm the opposite of a stage magician. He gives you illusion in the form of truth. I give you truth in the pleasant disguise of an illusion. To begin with, I turn back time. I reverse it to the quaint period of the 30s, when the huge middle class of America was matriculating in a school for the blind. The rise had failed them, or rather, they had failed to rise, and they were having their fingers pressed forcefully down on the fiery Braille alphabet of a dissolving economy. The play is a memory. Being a memory play, it is dimly lighted. It is sentimental, it is not realistic. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. I am the narrator of the play. I'm also a character in it. The other characters are my mother Amanda, my sister Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scenes of the play. He is the most realistic character, being an emissary of a world of reality we were somehow set apart from. But since I have a poet's weakness for symbols, I'm using this character also as a symbol. He is the long-delayed, but always expected something we live for. There's a fifth character in the play, who doesn't appear except in this larger-than-life photograph over the mantel. This is our father, who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man, fell in love with long distances. He gave up his job at a telephone company and skipped the life fantastic out of this town. Last we heard of him was a picture postcard from the Zappa off the Pacific coast of Mexico containing 2 words: hello, goodbye. I think the rest of the play will explain itself.
Tom!
Yes, Mother?
We can't say grace until you come to the table.
Coming, Mother.
Honey, don't push with your fingers. If you have to push with something, the thing to push with is the crust of the bread. And chew. Chew! Animals have secretions which enable them to digest their food without mastication. But human beings have to chew their food before they swallow it down. Eat food leisurely, son, and really enjoy it. A well-cooked meal has lots of delicious flavors which have to be held in the mouth for appreciation. So chew your food and give your salivary glands a chance to function.
You know, I haven't enjoyed my bite this dinner because of your constant directions on how to eat it. It's you that makes me brush through meals with your hawk-like attention to every bite I take. It's sickening. It spoils my appetite, all this discussion of salivary glands, animal secretion, mastication.
Temperament like a metropolitan star. You're not excused from the table, Tom.
I'm getting a cigarette.
You smoke too much. I'll bring in the back on. No, sister. You be the lady this time. I'll be the dog. I'm already up. Resume your seat, little sister. I want you to stay fresh and pretty for the gentlemen callers.
We both know what's coming. Stop her.
No, let her tell it.
Again?
She loves to tell it. One Sunday afternoon, in Blue Mountain, your mother received 17 gentlemen callers. Why, sometimes there weren't even enough chairs to accommodate them all. We had to send a servant over to bring in folding chairs from the parish house.
And how did you entertain those gentlemen callers?
I understood the art of conversation.
I bet you could talk.
Girls in those days knew how to talk, I can tell you.
And what exactly did you talk of?
Things of importance going on in the world? Never anything coarse or vulgar. My callers were gentlemen, all. Some of them were one of the most prominent planters in the Mississippi Delta. Planters, sons of planters. There was the young champ Laughlin, who became vice president of the Delta Planters Bank. Hadley Stevenson was drowned in the lake, but he left his widow $150,000 in government bonds. Living with the Couturier brothers, Wesley and Bates. Bates is one of my bright particular beaux. Got to a quarrel with my Rainwater boy, though. Shot out on the floor at Moonlight Casino. Bates was shot right through the stomach. And died on the ambulance. On the way to Memphis. His widow was also well provided for. Came into 8 or 10,000 acres. That's all. She married him on the rebound. He never loved her. Carried my picture on him the night he died. And there was that one boy that every girl in the Delta had set her cap for. Beautiful, brilliant young Fitzhugh boy from Greene County.
And what did he leave his widow?
He never married. Gracious, you talk as though all mild lives turned their toes up to the daisies.
But isn't he the first one that you've mentioned that still survives?
Fitzhugh Bloor went up north and made a fortune. He became known as the Wolf of Wall Street. He had a nice touch. Whatever he touched turned to gold. That could have been Mrs. Duncan J. Fitzhugh, mind you. Picked your father. Oh, let me live, Peggy. No, sister. You go in front and practice your typewriter charge, or your shorthand a little. I want you to stay fresh and pretty. It is almost time for our gentlemen callers to start, right? How many do you suppose we're going to entertain this afternoon? I think we'll be receiving any harm. What? You must be joking. Not one? Not one? Gentlemen caller? It can't be true. There must have been a flood. There must have been a tornado. It isn't a flood or a tornado. I'm just not popular like you are in the mountain. I was afraid I'm going to be an old man.
Not long after Mother's silly story, she discovered Laura had stopped attending her typing classes at Reuben Camp's Business College. She came home shocked one day to discover she had dropped out of her typing classes several weeks ago when a case of nervous indigestion caused her to run from the classroom. After the fiasco at Reuben Camp's Business College, the idea of getting a gentleman collar for Laura became a more and more important part of Mother's calculations. Because it seemed like the only option left for Laura to have a stable future became an obsession, like some archetype of the universal unconscious. The image of the gentleman collar haunted our small apartment. An evening at home rarely passed without some allusion to this specter, this image, this hope. Even when his name wasn't mentioned, his presence hung in Mother's preoccupied look and in my sister's frightened, apologetic manner.
What in Christ's
Don't you use that
do?
expression! Not my presence! Have you gone out of your senses?
I have, that's true, driven out.
What is the matter with you? You big idiot!
Look, I have nothing. No single thing about Napoleon.
I said, lower your voice!
Yesterday you confiscated my books. You had the nerve to just go and take them all
I took
with you.
that horrible novel back to the library, yes. That hideous book. I cannot control the output of diseased minds of people who cater to them, but I will not allow such filth to be brought to my house. No, no, no!
House. Who pays the rent on it? Who makes us leave of himself every day just to
Don't do that!
No, I mustn't say things. I just go out.
Let me tell you.
I'm not going to hear more, Mother.
You will.
No, I'm not. I'm going out.
You come right
I'm going out. Done.
You come back here and tell Winfield I'm not for talking to you. Come. You're going to listen. No more insolence from you. The end of my patience.
What do you think I'm at the end of, huh? Don't you think I'm supposed to have any patience to reach the end of it, Mother? I know it seems like unimportant to you what I'm doing, what I want to do, having a little difference between them. You don't think that
You've been doing things that you're ashamed of. That's why you act like this. People don't go to the movies at nearly midnight every night. Movies don't let out at 2 a.m. Coming, stumbling, muttering to yourself like you're some maniac. 3 hours of sleep and then you go to work. Oh, I can picture how you're doing down there. Moping and jumping because you're in no condition.
no condition at all.
What right do you have to jeopardize your job? Jeopardize the security of us all? How do you think we did?
You think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I'm in love with the Continental Shoemaker? You think I want to spend 55 years in that Celotex interior with fluorescent tubes? No. I'd rather somebody picked up a crowbar and battered out my brains than go back. But I go. Every time you come in, yelling that goddamn rise and shine, I can't help but see how dead people are. But I get up, and I go. For $65 a month, I give up everything that I dreamed of doing, and being ever. And you say myself. Myself is all I ever thought of. Mother, if myself's all I ever thought of, I'd be where he is. Gone as far as Chesney reaches. Let me go, Mother.
Where are you going?
I'm going to
I don't believe that lie.
No. No. I'm going to opium dens. Yes, Mother. Opium dens. Dens of vice and criminal hangouts. I've joined the Hogan gang. I'm a hired assassin. I carry a Tommy gun in a violated case. I run a string of cat houses in the valley. They call me Killer. Killer Wingfield. I'm leading a double life. I'm a simple, honest warehouse worker by day. By night, I'm a star of the underworld. I go to gambling casinos and I spin away fortunes on the roulette table. I wear a patch over one eye and a false mustache, and sometimes I wear green whiskers. And on those occasions, they call me El Diablo. When they told me things that would make you sleepless, Mother. My enemies, they plan to dynamite us. They plan to blow us all sky high tonight. When they do, I'll be happy. And so will you. Because you'll get up on your broomstick and you'll fly over Blue Mountain with your 17 gentlemen callers. You ugly, babbling old bitch!
I won't ever speak to you again. Not unless you apologize to me.
Mother. Sorry.
Go.
He poured water back and forth between two pictures. First it turned into wine, and then it turned into beer, and then it turned into whiskey. And I knew that it turned into whiskey, that it turned into And he needed someone from the audience to come up. And I came up both shows!
Let's get it.
Very generous. There we go! It's his magic scarlet! No. and they fly away. Oh, wait, there's another one. The most wonderful trick of all. There's the coffin trick. Oh, we nailed this guy into a coffin, and he got himself out without removing a single one. Oh, now there is a trick that will get me out of this hole. 2 by 4 situation. What are you shooting me for?
Come on.
Pretty good. Payback was right, John! You know, Laura, it doesn't take much intelligence to get yourself locked into a coffin. But who in the hell would have thought of himself getting himself out without moving a single one?
Laura, tell your brother his coffee's ready. Tom, it's nearly 7. Don't make Mom nervous. Speak to Mom this morning. Apologize to her. Make up with her. Speak to her.
It's her that's starting not speaking, Laura.
Yes, but if you just say you're sorry, she'll start speaking.
Her not speaking. Is that such a tragedy?
Laura, you're gonna do what I asked you to do, or I'm gonna have to get dressed and go out myself. I'm going. As soon as I can get my coat on. Mom, butter and what else? Just butter. Tell them to charge it. Mom, they make such faces around here. Sticks and stones can break our bones, but the expression on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm us. Laura, tell your brother his coffee's getting cold. Did I ask you to? Will you come? Go now, or don't go at all. I'm going.
Laura!
I'm all right. I'm okay. If somebody breaks a leg when fire escape stands, the landlord on me soon for every cent he has.
Mother, I apologize, Mother. I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it.
My devotion has made me a bitch, so I make myself hateful to my children.
No, you don't.
I worry so much. I don't sleep. It makes me nervous.
I know that.
I've had to put up a solitary battle all these years. But you're my right hand now, Tom. Don't fall down. Don't fail.
I'll try, Mother.
Try. You will succeed. You're just full of natural endowments. Both of my children are. They're unusual children. Don't you think I know it? But I'm so happy and proud, and I've so much to be thankful for. But promise me one thing, son.
Yes, Mother.
Promise me you'll never be a drunkard.
I'll never be a drunkard, Mother.
It's what frightened me so, that you'd be drinking. Get a bowl of cream.
Just coffee, Mother.
Try a good biscuit?
No, just coffee is fine.
I know. But you can't put in a day's work on an empty stomach. You got 10 minutes. Don't gulp. Drinking 2 hot liquids can give you cancer in the stomach. Put cream in.
No, thank you.
To cool it.
No, thank you. I want a glass.
I know you do. But it's not good for you, Mom. We have to do all we can to build ourselves up in these trying times we live in. All that we have is to cling to each other. That's why it's so important. Tom, I sent your sister out so that I could discuss something with you. If you hadn't spoken up, I would have spoken to you.
What is it that you'd like to discuss?
Laura.
Laura.
You know how Laura is. So quiet, but still water runs deep. She notices things, and I think that she broods about them. The other day, I came in and she was crying.
About?
You.
Me?
She has an idea that you're not happy here.
What would give her that idea?
What gives her any idea? However, you do act strangely. I'm not criticizing. Understand that. I know your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse. And like everybody else in the whole world, you've had to make sacrifices. But Tom, life's not easy. It calls for Spartan's endurance. I have so many things in my heart that I wish I could describe to you. I never told you this, but I loved your father very much.
I know that, Mother.
And when I see you taking after his ways, well, staying out late, well, you have been drinking the night that you were in that terrifying condition. Laura says that you hate the apartment and that you go out on nights to get away from it. Is that true, Tom?
No! No, Mother. No, no. And you say that there's so much in your heart that you cannot describe to me, right? And that's true of me too. I have so much in my heart that I wish I could describe to you, but I can't. So let's just respect each other's privacy.
But why, Tom? Why are you so restless? Where do you go to on nights?
I go to the movies.
I go to the movies, Tom.
I go to the movies because I like adventure. Adventure is not something that I have much of at work, so I go to the movies.
But you go to the movies entirely too much, Tom.
I like a lot of adventure.
Most young men find this in their career.
And most young men are not employed in a warehouse.
There are plenty of young men employed in offices, warehouses, and factories.
And do all of those men find adventure in their careers?
They do what they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure.
Mother, my instinct is a lover, a hunter, and a fighter. None of those are given much play in a warehouse.
Don't go instincts on me. Instincts is something people have got to get away from. It belongs to animals. Christian adults don't want it.
What do Christian adults want then, Mother?
Superior things. Things of the mind and spirit. Only animals have to satisfy instincts. Surely your aims are somewhat higher than theirs, and monkeys.
I reckon they're not.
You must be joking. However, this is what I want to talk about.
Mother, I don't have time to continue talking.
Sit down.
Do you want me to punch your bread at the warehouse, Mother?
You've got 5 minutes. I want to talk about Laura.
Fine. What about Laura?
We have got to be making some plans and provision for her. She's older than you by 2 years, and nothing has happened. She drifts along doing absolutely nothing. And it frightens me terribly.
You know, maybe she's the type that people call homegirls.
There is no such type, and if it is, it's a pity. Unless it's, the home isn't hers, and it's with a husband.
What?
Oh, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as the nose and grin on my face. More and more, you remind me of your father. Going out at all hours without explanation, and then left. Goodbye, and me with a bag to hold. I saw the letter that you got from the Merchant Marine, Tom. I know what you've been dreaming of. I'm not standing here blindfolded. Very well then do it. then leave. But not until there's someone here to take your place.
What do you mean?
I mean, that Laura has got somebody to take care of her. Independent, married, a home of her own, while be free to do whatever you please. On land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows you. But until that time, you've got to look out for your sister, Tom. Put her in business college. A dismal failure. Frightened her so much and made her sick to her stomach. Now all she does is fool around with those little glass pieces, play those worn-out records. What kind of life is that for a girl to live?
What can I do about it, Mother?
Selfish and it's just something all around the go. Tom, where's your woman, Mother? Put your woman on. I haven't said what I had mind to ask you.
Mother, I haven't got time to continue talking.
Down at the warehouse. There's a nice young man up there.
No!
There must be some.
Mother, I have to, please.
Tom with clean living and doesn't drink and ask him out.
What?
My sister. To meet. To get married.
Oh my gosh.
Will you? Will you? Will you, dear?
Yes!
Son, will you do me a favor?
What, Mother?
Comb your hair. You look so pretty when your hair is combed. There's only one respect in which I'd like you to emulate your father.
What respect is that?
The care he took of his appearance. He never allowed himself to look untidy. Where are you going?
I'm going outside to smoke.
You smoke too much. A pack a day at 15 cents a pack. How much would that amount to in a month? Figured out and you could astound what you would save.
I'd rather smoke.
I know. That's the tragedy of it.
Across the alley from us was Paradise Dance Hall. On evenings in the spring, the windows and doors would open, and the music came outdoors. Sometimes the lights were turned out, except for a large glass sphere that hung from the ceiling. The orchestra would play a tango or a waltz, something with a slow and sensuous rhythm. Couples came outside to the relative privacy of the alley. You could see them kissing behind ash pits and telephone poles. This was the compensation for the lives that passed by fine. Without any change or adventure. Adventure and change were imminent this time of year. They were waiting around the corner for all these kids.
A shabby balcony is a poor excuse for a porch.
The moon.
Is there a moon this evening?
It's rising over Garfinkel's delicatessen.
So it is. A little silver slip of a moon. Have you made a wish on it yet?
Uh-huh.
What did you wish for?
That's a secret.
A secret, huh? Well, I won't tell you mine either. I'll be just as mysterious as you.
I bet I can guess what this is.
Is my head so transparent?
You're definitely no Sphinx.
I'll tell you what I wish for. I have no secrets. Success and happiness for my happy children. I wish for that whenever there's a moon. When there isn't a moon, I wish for it still.
I thought perhaps that you'd wish for a gentleman caller.
Why do you say that?
Don't you remember asking me to fetch one?
I remember suggesting that it would be nice for your sister if you brought some nice young man from the warehouse.
And you've made it repeatedly.
Well?
We're going to have one.
What?
A gentleman caller.
You mean you asked some nice young man to come over?
I did.
You really did?
Yes, I did.
And did he accept?
He did.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
I thought you'd be pleased, Mother.
So it's definitely then.
Very.
Soon?
Very soon.
For heaven's sakes, stop putting on and tell me some things, will you?
What things would you like me to tell you, Mother?
Naturally, I'd like to know when he's coming.
He's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, Mother, tomorrow.
But Tom,
Yes, Mother.
Tomorrow gives me no time.
Time for what?
Preparations. Why didn't you phone me at once as soon as you asked him the minute he accepted my thing? Don't you see I could have been making arrangements.
You don't have to make any fuss.
Tom, of course I have to make a fuss. I want things to be nice, not sloppy, not thrown together. Certainly have to do some best, won't I?
I don't see why you have to think at all.
You just don't know. We can't have a gentleman caller in a pigsty. All my wedding silver has to be polished. The monogrammed table linen ought to be laundered. The windows have to be washed. Fresh curtains have to be put up. What about clothes? We have to wear something, don't we?
Mother, this boy is no one to make a fuss over.
Do you realize this is the first young man being introduced to sister? It is terrible, dreadful, disgraceful that poor little sister hasn't received a single gentleman call. Come on inside, Tom.
What for?
I want to ask you some questions.
Mother, if you're going to make such a fuss, I'll call it off. I'll tell him not to come.
You certainly do nothing of the kind. Not that it offends people more than broken engagements. It simply means I have to work like a Turk. You won't be brilliant, but pass inspection. Come on inside. Sit down.
Any particular place you'd like me to sit?
Thank heavens, I've got that new sofa. And I'm making payments on that new floor lamp. I'll have that sent out. And I'll put the shit's covers on. I'll wrap things right up. Of course, I was hoping to have these walls repapered. What is this young man's name?
His name is O'Connor.
And that, of course, means fish. Tomorrow's Friday. The salmon roll, turkey's dressing. What does he do? He works at the warehouse?
Of course, how else would I ask him to become?
He doesn't drink, Tom, does he?
Why do you ask me that?
Your father did.
Don't get started on it, at least not tonight.
He does drink then.
Not that I know of.
Make sure. Be certain. The last thing I want for my daughter is a boy who drinks.
Mother, aren't you being a little bit premature? Mr. O'Connor has not yet appeared on the scene.
He will tomorrow to meet sister. And what do I know of his character? Nothing. Old maids are better off than wives of drunkards.
My God.
Be still.
You know, lots of fellows meet young girls whom they don't marry, Mother.
Oh, Tom. Talk sensibly. Don't be sarcastic.
What are you doing?
I need to brush on that calendar. What is this young man's position at the warehouse?
He's the shipping clerk, Mother.
Sounds like a fairly responsible job, the kind of job you have had to forget. What is this salary? Have you any idea?
I would judge it to be approximately $85 a month.
Well, not principally.
20 more than I do.
How well I know. For a family man, $85 a month is much more than you can get by on.
Yes, but Mr. O'Connor is not yet a family man.
Might he, sometime in the future?
I see plans and provisions, Mother.
Only young man I know ignores the fact that the future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting plain.
I will think that over and see what I make of it.
Don't be supercilious with your mother. Tell me one thing, what do you call him?
James D. O'Connor. The D is for Delaney.
Gracious, Irish on both sides, and he doesn't drink.
Shall I call him up and ask him right this minute?
The way to ask about these things is to make discreet inquiries at the proper moment. When I was a young girl in Blue Mountain, and it was suspected that a young man drank, the girls whose attentions he had been receiving, if any, would sometimes speak to the minister of his church. Or rather, her father would, if her father was living, and sort of feel him out on the young man's character. That is the way in which things are discreetly handled to keep a young man or woman from making a terrible mistake.
Then you happen to make a tragic mistake, Mother.
The innocent look of your fathers had everyone fooled. Smiled, the whole world was enchanted. I hope Mr. O'Connor isn't too good looking.
No, Mother, he's not too good looking.
Not right down home, though.
Right down homely, just medium homely, I'd say.
Character's what to look for in a man anyways.
That's what I've always said, Mother.
You've never given it any thought. I wouldn't suspect you would.
Don't be so suspicious of me.
Well, at least I hope he's the type that doesn't come.
I'd say he's the type that goes in for self-improvement.
Why do you think that?
He goes to night school.
Splendid. What does he do? I mean, study.
Radio engineering and public speaking.
Then he has visions of being advanced in the world. Any young man who studies public speaking is aiming to have an executive job one day. And radio engineering, a thing of the future. Both of these facts are very illuminating.
I don't want to know. I didn't tell him about Laura. I didn't let on that we had dark, ulterior motives. I simply just asked, why don't you come and have dinner with us? And he said okay. That was the whole conversation.
I bet it was. You're about as eloquent as an oyster. You don't know about Laura when he gets here. When he sees how sweet, lovely, and pretty she is, he will think it's lucky stars he was invited over to dinner.
Yes, Mother, but you mustn't expect too much of Laura.
What do you mean?
Laura seems all of those things to you and me because she's ours and we love her. We don't even notice that she's crippled anymore.
Don't say crippled. You know I never allow that word to be used.
That's the facts, Mother. She is, and that's not all.
What do you mean, not all?
Laura's very different from other girls.
I think the difference is all to her advantage.
Not quite all. In the eyes of others, strangers, Laura's terribly shy. She lives in a world of her own. Those things make her seem a bit peculiar to people.
Don't say peculiar.
Face the facts, Mother. She is.
In what way, may I ask, is she peculiar?
She lives in a world of her own. In a world of her little blessed moments, Mother. She sits by the phonograph and plays old records all the time. And that's about it.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies.
Not to the movies. Every night to the movies. I don't believe you're always going to the movies. Laura. Yes, Laura. Let those ornaments go. Come in front. Happiness and good fortune.
So the following evening, I brought Jim home to dinner. I'd known him slightly in high school. Back then, Jim was a hero. He had tremendous Irish good nature, with the scrubbed and polished look of white chinaware. He was a star in basketball, captain of the debating club, president of the senior class and glee club. He sang the male lead in the annual Lights Opera. He seemed to move in a continual spotlight, always running or bounding, never just walking. He was shooting with such velocity through his adolescence, you'd expect him to be nowhere short of the White House by the age of 30. But apparently Jim ran into some interference after graduation. 6 years later, he's holding a job that announced better than mine. He was the only one at the warehouse with whom I was on friendly terms on. I was valuable to him, someone who could remember his former glory, and he knew of my secret practice of retiring to the washroom to work on poems when work was slack in the warehouse. He called me Shakespeare, and while the other boys regarded me with suspicious hostility, Jim took a humorous attitude towards me. Gradually, his attitude affected the others, and they started to smile at me. Someone who smiles at an odd dog and trusts it. Jim and Laura had known each other in high school, but I didn't know if he remembered her or not. Back then, Laura had been as invisible as Jim had been astonishing. And if he did remember her, it was not as my sister. When I invited him to dinner, he grinned and said, "You know, Shakespeare, I never thought of you having folks." I was about to discover that I did.
Why are you trembling? You make me so nervous. How have I made you nervous? Well, you make it all seem so important. I just don't understand. You couldn't be just satisfied with sitting at home. Whenever I try to arrange something for you, you seem to resist it. Now look at yourself. Oh, wait just a moment, I have an idea. What is it, Mama? They come to Dave Caesars. I won't wear them. You will. Why should I? Because to be painfully honest, your chest is flat. You make it seem like we're setting a trap. All pretty girls are a trap. Men expect them to be. Take a look at yourself, sweetheart. This is the prettiest you will ever be. I've got to go fix myself now. You're going to be surprised at your mother's appearance. See how I sashayed around the ballroom lower? I wore it Sundays with my gentleman collars. I had it on the night I met your father. I hope they get here before it rains. I gave your brother a little extra change so him and Mr. O'Connor could take the service car home. What's his first name? I don't remember. Oh, wait. It was Jim. Not Jim. But yes, it was Jim. I never knew a Jim that wasn't nice. Are you sure his name is Jim O'Connor? Yes. Why? Is it the one Tom used to know in high school? He didn't say. I think he just got to know him down at the warehouse. There's a Jim O'Connor that Tom and I used to know in high school. That's the one Tom's bringing to dinner. Oh, you'll have to excuse me. I won't come to the table. What sort of nonsense is this? You asked me once if I had ever liked him. Remember, I showed you this boy's picture. The one that you showed me in the yearbook? Yes, that. Laura, were you ever in love with that boy? I don't know, Mom. All I know is I couldn't sit at the table if it were him. It won't be him. It isn't the least bit likely, but even if it was, you will come to the table. You won't be excused. Mom, I'll have to be. I don't intend to humor your silliness, Laura. I've had enough of you and your brother both. So just stay put and keep your composure until they come. Tom has forgotten his keys, so you'll have to answer the door. Oh, but you let them in. I'll be in the kitchen. Busy. Laura, the door. Oh, sweetheart, it's your brother and Mr. O'Connor. Will you answer the door? You go to the door. Please, now, something. Please, you go to the door. Please, please. I told you I won't humor you. Why have you chosen this moment to lose your mind? Please, you go. What's wrong with you, Laura? Why can't you and your brother be normal, fantastic twins in behavior? Preposterous. Why can you give me one reason? Coming, just 1 second. Why you can't answer the door, Laura? Now answer it. Right to that door, Laura. It's fine.
Laura? This is Jim. Jim. This is Sister Laura. I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister.
What do you do?
Okay. Your hand's cool, Laura.
I'm playing the controller.
Must have been playing classical music on it. You want to play a little hot swing music to warm you up?
Excuse me, I haven't finished playing it yet.
What was the matter? Laura? She's terribly shy. Shy, huh? It's unusual to be shy going out of games. I don't believe you ever mentioned you have a sister. Well, now you know I have one. You're supposed to dispatch you one piece. Sure. One piece, the comics, sports. Old Ziggy is on his bad behavior again. Yeah. Where are you going? The terrace. You know Shakespeare. I'm going to sell you a bill of goods. What goods? Of course I'm. Huh? In public speaking, you and me, we're not the warehouse. That's good news, but what has public speaking got to do with it? It fits you for executive positions. I see. I'll tell you, it's done a hell of a lot for me. In what respects? In every. Ask yourself, what's the difference between you and me and men in the offices down front?
Brains? No. Ability? No. Then what? It's just what is it? Social poise! Being able to square up to people and hold your own on any social level.
Tom!
Yes, Mother.
Is that you, Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother.
Well, you two just make yourselves comfortable out there.
Yes, Mother.
Ask Mr. O'Connor if he'd like to wash his hands.
Oh, no thank you. I took care of the warehouse. Tom,
Yes.
Mr. Mendoza was speaking to me about you.
Favorably?
What do you think?
Well,
You're gonna be out of a job if you don't wake up.
I am waking up.
You show no signs.
The signs are interior. I'm planning to change. I'm right at the point of committing myself to a future without the warehouse, or Mr. Mendoza, or night school course in public speaking.
What are you talking about?
I'm tired of the movies.
Movies?
Yes, the movies. Look at them. All of those glamorous faces, having adventures, hogging it all, gobbling it all up. And you know what happens? People go to the movies instead of moving. Hollywood characters are supposed to have all of the adventures for everyone in America, while everyone in America just sits in a dark room and watches them. Yes, until there's a war. That's when adventure becomes available to the masses. It's everybody's dish, not only Gable's. And then those people in the dark room, they come out ready to have some adventures themselves. Like, goody good, it's our turn now to go to the South Sea Island to make a safari, to be exotic, far off. But I'm not patient. Now I don't want to wait until then, and I'm tired of the movies, and I'm about to move.
Move?
Yes,
When?
soon.
To where?
I'm starting to boil inside. I know I seem dreamy, but on the inside, well, I'm boiling. Every time I pick up a shoe, I shudder a little, thinking how short life is and what it all means. And I know it doesn't mean shoes, except as something to wear on a traveler's feet.
What?
I'm a member.
The Union of Merchant Seamen.
I paid my dues this month.
You're gonna regret it when they turn the lights off since you didn't pay it.
I won't be here.
How about your mother?
You know, forget her. I'm like my father, the bastard son of a bastard. And did you notice how he's grinning in his picture in there? And he's been gone for 16 years.
You're just talking, Mitra. How does your mother feel about it?
She's coming, and she's not yet acquainted with my plans. Put that away.
Where are you all?
On the terrace, Mother. Oh, God.
So this is Mr. O'Connor. Introductions entirely unnecessary. I have heard so much about you from my boy. I finally said to him, good gracious, Tom. I don't know why my son is so standoffish sometimes. It's simply not southern behavior. Let's just sit down. We can use a little more air. Tom, leave the door open.
Mother,
Yes, honey.
how about supper?
Sister's in full charge of supper. Why don't you ask her about it? Tell her you hungry boys are waiting.
Laura. Oh, yes, she...
I'll let you in. Oh, good, you met already. Laura is not only very pretty, but also very, very domestic. I am not at all. I could make a single thing but angel food cake. But in the South, we had so many servants. Gone, 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 vestige of gracious living. I wasn't prepared for what my future hold me, but the man proposes and the woman accepts the proposal. What about your tribulation? I hope you don't have any. Tom!
Yes, Mother.
Is supper ready?
It seems as though supper's already on the table.
Oh, let me take a look. Oh, lovely. But where's sister?
Laura's not feeling well and says that she shouldn't come to the table tonight.
What? Nonsense! Laura! Oh, Laura. Yes, Mama. Keeping us waiting, honey. You can't sit down until you come to the table. And then Mr. O'Connor. Sit back here. Laura. Laura Wingfield. We can't say grace until you come to the table, honey.
Laura!
Oh, Lord, you are ill, darling. Tom
Oh. For these and all thy mercies, God's holy name be praised.
Well, hey there, Mr. Lightbulb.
Oh, where was Moses when the lights went out? You know the answer to that one, Mr. O'Connor?
No, ma'am. What's the answer?
In the dark. Well, everyone just sit still. I'll light the candles. Is it lucky that we have them here right on the table? Now, which of you gentlemen can provide a match?
Ah, here.
Thank you very much. Mr. O'Connor, can you tell a burnt out fuse? I know I can. Tom's a loss when it comes to mechanics. Right this way. Oh, watch where you go. We don't want our gentleman caller to break his neck. That would be a fine having-do, wouldn't it? Now, right here, right next to the stove. Can you see anything yet? Isn't electricity a mysterious thing? We live in a mysterious universe, don't we? They say that science clears up all those mysteries, and my opinion only creates more. Have you found anything yet?
No, ma'am. All these fuses look okay to me.
Tom,
Yes, Father.
the light bill I gave you several days ago, the one I told you we got notices on,
Oh, yeah?
you didn't neglect to pay it, perchance.
Why, I should.
Did! I might have known it.
Shakespeare probably wrote a poem on that light bulb, Mrs. Wingfield.
I might have known better than to trust him with it. There is such a high price for negligence in this world. I guess we'll have to spend the remainder of the evening in the 19th century before Edison made the master lamp.
Candlelight is my favorite kind of lamp.
That shows you romantic, but there's no excuse for Tom. Well, at least they allowed us to finish dinner. Wasn't very considerate of them to let us finish dinner before plunging us into everlasting darkness, wasn't it, Mr. O'Connor?
Oh, it sure was.
Tom, as a penalty for your carelessness, you will help with the dishes.
Oh, here, let me help.
No. No, don't.
I ought to be good for something.
Good for something. Why, you, Mr. O'Connor, no one has given me this much entertainment in years.
No, Mrs. Wingfield.
I'm not exaggerating. The sister's all by herself, lonesome in the parlor. Well, why don't you go in there and keep her company? I'll give you this lovely old candelabra for you to take in there. It came from the Church of the Heavenly Rest. Go on. Also, how about coaxing your sister to drink it a little bit of wine? I think it would be good for her. Can you carry both at the same time?
Sure, I'm a superhero.
Now, Thomas, get this apron.
Oh, that one. Hello, Laura. How are you feeling now? Better?
Yes, thank you.
Here's a little dandelion. Drink it, but don't get drunk. Where shall we these candles? How about here on the floor? Any objections? I'll spread a newspaper on it. So many people. I had to sit on the floor. Do you mind if I do?
No.
Give me a pillow. Oh, hello. Thank you. How about you? Would you like to sit on the floor?
I do.
Why would you?
I would.
now I can see you. Comfortable?
Yes.
So am I. Comfortable as a cow. We have some gum? I think that will indulge with your permission. Huh. I guess not. Seems I forgot that.
Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing?
Singing? Me?
Because I remember your voice in it
When have you heard me sing?
very often. I don't, do you remember me at all?
You know, I have the idea that I've seen you before. I had it as soon as you opened the door. And it almost seemed like I was about to remember your name, but what I began to call you wasn't a name, so I stopped myself before I said it.
Was it Blue Roses?
Blue roses! My gosh, yes, blue roses! That's what I had on my tongue when you opened the door. Isn't it funny what tricks your memory plays on you? I didn't think to connect you with high school, but that's what it was. It was high school. I had no idea you were Shakespeare's sister.
I didn't expect you to. You barely knew me.
But we did have a speaking acquaintance, huh?
Yes. We spoke to each other.
When did you recognize me?
Right away.
As soon as I came in the door?
When I heard your name, I knew it was probably you. I knew Tom Schneider was in high school, so when you came in the door, then I was sure.
Why didn't you say something then?
I know what to say, I was too surprised.
Well, now I've placed you. I used to call you Blue Roses. How was it that I started calling you that?
I was at school for a little while. When you came back, you asked me what was the matter. I said I had blue roses. You thought I said blue roses. And that's what you always called me after that.
I hope you didn't mind.
No, I liked it. I wasn't afraid of looking at people.
As I remember you sort of stuck by yourself.
Never had much luck with making friends.
I was thinking you wouldn't.
Started out with that.
You mean you?
Yes. It stood between me, the company, and my brace. It made me lose.
You shouldn't have let it.
No, but I couldn't help it. And I tried not to be shy about it, but I never could.
Overcome it?
No, I never could.
I guess being shy is something you have to work out gradually.
Yes, I guess,
It takes time.
yes.
People are not so dreadful when you get to know them. That's what you have to remember. You think of yourself as being the only one with problems, the only one who's disappointed. But look around you. You will see plenty of people just as disappointed as you are. For instance, when I was in high school, I thought I'd be further along in life than I am now, 6 years later. Being disappointed is one thing, and being discouraged is another. I may be disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. I'm 23 years old. How old are you?
I'll be 24 in June.
Why, that's not old age at all.
No, but
You finished high school?
I didn't go back. I made bad grades in my final examinations. How was Emily Meisenbach getting along?
That crap.
What do you call her that?
That's what she was.
You're not still going to study with her?
I never see her.
It said in the personal section that you were engaged.
I know, but I wasn't really impressed by that propaganda.
Wasn't the truth?
Only in Emily's optimistic opinion. What have you done since high school? Laura. I said, what have you done since high school?
I don't do anything much. Please don't say I think I sit around doing nothing. My glass collection takes up a great deal of time. Glass is something you have to take good care of.
What did you say? Something about glass?
A collection. I have one.
You know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex. You know what that is? That's what they call it when someone low rates himself. Now, I haven't made a regular study. But I have a friend who tells me I can analyze people better than doctors should make a profession of it. Now, I don't really claim this is necessarily true, but I sure can guess a person's psychology. That is what I judge to be the trouble with you. A lack of confidence in yourself as a person. You know what my strong advice to you is? Think of yourself as superior to someone.
In what way would I think?
Like, man alive, Laura. Look about you a little. What do you see? A world full of common people. All of them born and all of them going to die. What one of them has 1/10 of your good points, or mine, or anyone else's for that matter? Everyone excels in some one thing. Some in memory. Now all you have to do is discover and what. Now, isn't there something you take more interest in than anything else?
Yes, I said I have my glass collection.
Not sure I know what you're talking about. Something, what kind of glass?
Little articles of it. They're ornaments mostly. Tiny little animals made out of glass. Mother calls them my Glass Menagerie. Here's an example if you'd like to see it. He's nearly 13. Be careful if he really breaks.
I shouldn't take it down. I'm pretty clumsy with the thing.
No, go on, I trust you. See you're holding him gently. Hold him over to the light. He loves it.
It's sure to shine.
I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
What kind of thing is it supposed to be?
Don't you see the single horn on his forehead?
A unicorn, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's... Where shall I sit?
On the table. Every piece of the collection likes to change the scenery when it's more.
Well then. Now where is that coming from?
The paradise dance all across the alley.
How about training the rebels?
Oh no,
Or is your program all filled up? Here, let me have a look at this. Why, every dance is taken. I'll have to scratch a few out. Just give me a moment. Here we go. A waltz.
No, I can't dance.
Here you go with that inferiority stuff. Come on, try it.
I'll step on your foot.
Wow. Just leave it to me. Come here. You hold your arms out.
Like this?
A little higher. More like that. Just relax yourself, okay?
It's hard to. I'm afraid you can't budge me.
What do you gotta say?
Yes, you can.
Just let yourself go now, Laura.
Okay. Fine.
Not so stiff now. Easy does it.
Okay.
There you go. That's lots better. Lots better.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, lost it.
Lord, it doesn't matter. Last Christmas, no matter how careful you are.
You'll never forgive me. I bet that was your favorite piece of
I don't
glass.
have favorites much. It's no tragedy. Maybe it's a blessing from the sky.
No, I'm awfully sorry I was the cause of it.
I'll just pretend he had an operation. The hardest word to make him feel less freakish. Now he'll feel more at home with all the other things.
That's really good. I'm glad to see that you have a sense of humor. You know, you're surprisingly different from anyone else I know. Oh, you might be telling me that. I mean it in a nice way. You make me feel sort of... I don't know. I'm usually pretty good at expressing these things. Has anyone ever told you that you're pretty? Well, you are. In a different way, and all the nicer because of the difference, too. People walk all over the world. Well, you just stay here. They're common as weeds, but you, well, you're blue roses.
Blue is rose for roses.
Well, it's right for you. You're pretty.
In what respect?
In all respects. Your eyes, your hair, your hands, all pretty. You think I'm making this up because I'm invited to dinner and I have to because so I could do that. But this time, I was talking to you sincere. I happen to notice that you had this inferiority complex that keeps you from feeling comfortable with people. Somebody needs to build up your confidence and make you proud instead of being shy and turning away. Honestly, this is wrong.
So, I shouldn't have done it. That was way off the beam. Tom made a mistake. Listen, you can't do the right thing. I can't take down your number and stay on the phone. I can't ask for a date. I thought I'd better explain the situation in case you misunderstood and I hurt your feelings. No, Laura, as I was about to explain, I've got strings on you, Laura. I've been going steady with a girl named Betty, and we got along fine. We met last summer, and right away was love. Being in love has made a new man out of me. Love is something that changes the whole world, Laura. It happened that Betty saw me so sick. She got a wire and had to go to Centralia. Someone told me if I needed dinner. I naturally accepted, but not like that. I wish you would say something.
Isn't the air lovely after a shower? I'll need you two children a little liquid refreshment. I've rejuvenated. Good game for the occasion, Mr. O'Connor. Oh, I was back to myself. There now. I made you children a little liquid refreshment. I found some maraschino cherries and I've done them right.
You shouldn't have gone to all that trouble, Mrs. Wingfield.
Trouble? Trouble. Why, it was loads of fun. I told Tom how outdone I was for keeping you to himself for way too long. He should have brought you over much, much sooner. But now that you found your way, I want you to be a very frequent caller. Oh, we're going to have gay times together. I can just see them. But I'll skip out. I know my place when young folks are having a serious conversation.
Mrs. Wingfield, don't go. The fact of the matter is, I have to be going.
Going? You must be joking. It's only the shade of the evening, Mr. O'Connor.
Well, you know how it is.
You mean that you're a young working man and you got to keep working man hours? Oh, I understand. We'll let you off easy this time, but only on the condition that the next time you come, you stay longer. That's best for you.
Well, I've got a couple of time clocks to punch in. One in the morning and another one at night.
My, but you are ambitious. You work at night, too?
No, ma'am, not work. Betty.
Betty. Who's Betty?
She's the girl I go steady with.
Is this serious romance, Mr. O'Connor?
We're going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Well, that's nice. Tom didn't mention that you were engaged.
Well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet. You know how it is. They call you Romeo and stuff like that. It's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield.
It really wasn't anything at all.
I hope it doesn't seem like I'm rushing out. I promised Betty I'd pick her up at the Wabash Depot, and you know how some women are when you keep them waiting.
Well, I know. The tyranny of women. Good night, Mr. O'Connor. I wish you luck and happiness and success.
Goodbye, love. I'll treasure this food. Don't forget the good advice that I gave. So long, Shakespeare. Thanks again, ladies. Good night.
Things have a way of turning out so badly. The gentleman caller was engaged to be married. Tom!
Yes, Mother.
Why don't you come in here a moment? I have something awfully funny to tell you.
Has the gentleman caller gotten away already?
The gentleman caller has departed. What a wonderful joke you are playing on us.
What do you mean?
He's engaged to be married, Tom.
Jim? Engaged?
Very peculiar.
What's peculiar about it?
Didn't you call him your best friend down at the warehouse?
He is, but how am I supposed to know that?
You mean to tell me that you didn't know that your best friend was getting married?
Mother, the warehouse is where I work, not where I know things about people.
You don't know things anywhere. You live in a dream. You manufacture illusions. Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies.
That's right. Now that you have made a fool of ourselves, all the effort, the preparation, the expense, the new floor lamp, the rug, the clothes for Laura, all for what? To entertain some other girl's fiancé? Go to the movies. Just go. Don't think about us. Don't let anything interfere with your selfish pleasure, Tom. Just
The
go!
more you shout about my selfishness to me, the quicker I'll go. And I won't go to the movies!
Go to the moon, you selfish dreamer!
I didn't go to the moon. I went much further, for time is the longest distance between two places. Not long after that, I got fired for writing a poem on the lid of a shoebox. I left St. Louis. I descended the steps of this escape for the last time, followed from then on my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. Traveled around a great deal. The city swept by like dead leaves that were brightly colored, but torn from the branches. I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. It came to me unaware, taking me altogether by surprise. Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps it was a tiny, transparent piece of glass. Perhaps I am walking at night in some strange city before I met companions. I passed the lighted shop of a window where perfume is sold on the shelves. They're little transparent bottles of glass, like bits of a shattered rainbow. Then all at once my sister touches my shoulder and I look her in the eyes. Oh Laura, how I tried to leave you behind me, but I'm more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run to a movie or a bar, I buy a drink, anything that can get you to blow your candles out. For nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow your candles out, Laura. And so, goodbye.